Porsche is a renowned German automobile manufacturer. From its humble beginnings in 1931 to becoming a global icon for luxury and performance, Porsche has evolved through wartime challenges, internal family struggles, and scandals. It all started a long time ago in 1998 with a man named Ferdinand Porsche. To really get to know what Porsche is all about, we need to go back to the beginning of this journey. Ferdinand Porsche, along with Adolf Rosenberger and Anton Pich, started a company called Dr. Ing HCF Porsche GmbH in 1931 in Stuttgart, Germany. The name comes from Ferdinand Porsche's engineering title. Initially, Porsche was not manufacturing its cars, but was making them for some other companies. Their first major projects were a car for the German government for VW, the Volkswagen Beetle. From the components of the same model in 1939, Porsche developed the Porsche 64. It is a known fact that the first models which were to evolve into the Porsche 356 were initially assembled in a sawmill at Gmünd in Austria. It was exhibited to the German car dealers, and when many people placed orders for the car, the actual production started. Many people consider the 356 as the real first Porsche, mainly because it is the first automobile in the market sold by this firm. In 1950, production of 356 was taken over by Dr. Ing HCF Porsche GmbH in Stuttgart. Porsche then hired a company called Rute Carrosserie, which had worked with them with Volkswagen Beetle prototypes to make the steel body of the 356. In 1952, Porsche built an assembly plant called Werk 2 right across the street from Rute Carrosserie. The main road in front of the oldest Porsche building, Werk 1, is now called Porsche Strasse. 356 was officially approved for the road in 1948. Over time, Porsche began manufacturing their own components for the 356. In 1954, Porsche had engines that were exclusively made for their vehicles. Erwin Kommende, who also had worked on the Beetle, was the designer of the car. Porsche cars are famous for their rear engine and air-cooled system, contributing to their balanced and driver-friendly performance. Thus, in 1964, following successes in racing cars, Porsche came up with a new model in the sports car 911. This car had a special 6-cylinder engine positioned flat, and this type of engine was called Boxer engine. Besides, it had the engine in the back and did not require a coolant to cool things down, hence it is called air-cooled. The major design of the 911 was entrusted to Ferdinand Alexander Porsche, who was specifically recognized as Ferry Porsche's oldest son. Although people had some disagreements regarding the appearance of a car, the 911 became rather successful. It did well in races, rallies, and was sold a lot. They also offered a more affordable version called the 912, which had a 4-cylinder engine. During World War II, Porsche's factories were used to help the German military. The company changed to making military vehicles. They created the Kubelwagen, which was a light vehicle for carrying troops, and the Schwimmenwagen, which could drive on land and float on water. Porsche also worked on a special tank called the Porsche Tiger that used a diesel engine and electric motors together. After the war, Ferdinand Porsche and his team were arrested by the Allies because they used forced labor in their factories. The workers were often subjected to harsh conditions, inadequate food, and long working hours. They were given a 22-month prison sentence in France. This was considered a light sentence because some witnesses, including their former business partner Adolf Rosenberger, said that they treated the workers better than others did. After World War II, the Porsche and Volkswagen factories were taken over by the Allied forces. Even though these companies helped in the war, they were allowed to keep making cars to help rebuild Germany's economy. The Allies wanted to make Germany strong and wealthy again to fight against the spread of communism, so Porsche and Volkswagen changed what they were doing and started making cars for regular people instead of military vehicles. This led to the creation of the first Porsche sports car. In 1935, because Adolf Rosenberger, one of the original founders of the company, was Jewish, the Nazis arrested him and he had to flee from Germany. He eventually moved to the United States. After he left, Porsche continued to grow and get contracts from the Nazi government, which made the company's history complicated and raised questions about its ethics. The Porsche family also had problems from within. In the 1970s, Ferry Porsche, who was in charge of the company, decided to follow Honda's idea of not having family members in important roles. In 1972, Porsche became a public company, which meant they brought in outside leaders, and some family members, like F.A. Porsche and Ferdinand Porsche, left. F.A. Porsche started Porsche Design, known for luxury products like sunglasses and watches. Ferdinand Porsche later became the chairman of Volkswagen Group. The first CEO of Porsche AG was Ernst Fuhrmann, who wanted to replace the popular 911 model with a V8-powered 928, but the former remained more successful. Fuhrmann was followed by Peter W. Schultz, an American who adored the same car, didn't discontinue its production, and then Arno Bohn, who was quickly removed due to mistakes. Porsche's business strategy during the Nazi era focused on getting profitable contracts from the Nazi government. This partnership helped Porsche gain a lot of recognition and success. However, their connection with the Nazis raised ethical concerns. The question of whether it was right to work with such a harsh government and how this affects Porsche's reputation today are still debated topics. Porsche is serious about being sustainable, and they think about the environment at every step of making their cars. This means they look at how their cars affect the planet from the very beginning, like when the materials are taken from the earth, all the way to how the cars are recycled. By doing this, they make sure to consider not just the pollution created during production, but also the overall impact their cars have on the environment. One notable achievement of Porsche is its Takon Factory in Stuttgart-Zuffenhausen. It creates cars without any carbon dioxide emission. This effort is a part of Porsche's goal to create a zero-impact factory, which means that they want to create cars in a way that doesn't harm the environment. To reach this goal, they focus on reusing materials so that when a car reaches the end of its life, its parts can be recycled and used again in making new cars. The Volkswagen Group owns some parts of Porsche's share. Porsche has two main governance groups. These include the Board of Management, which controls daily operations. The other group is the Supervisory Board, and it advises the management. Porsche is transparent in its policies and operations. A major scandal involving Porsche is its Dieselgate scandal. It started in 2015 when Volkswagen said that it had installed software in roughly 11 million diesel cars globally for manipulating emissions tests. Porsche vehicles utilized a number of these engines. Porsche was penalized $583,780,000 by the German government. Volkswagen has paid about $32.74 billion in fines, legal costs, and vehicle buybacks as a result of this matter. Similar to VW, Porsche was subject to numerous lawsuits from investors and automobile owners. Due to a drop in share value, investors filed lawsuits seeking compensation, and car owners demanded compensation for being deceived. Volkswagen and Porsche saw major management changes as a result of the scandal. Top executives were made to resign from their positions. These included Martin Winterkorn, the CEO of Volkswagen, among them. Matthias Müller, the former chairman of Porsche, became Volkswagen's CEO. The company's corporate governance and reputation deteriorated significantly due to the occurrence of the Dieselgate matter. It also brings out the fact that each line of business, irrespective of measures that it has taken to improve its processes and practices and sustainability, is subject to ethical dilemmas. If you liked this video, check out other videos on our channel.